itself. Is this a computer simulation? Are we all the product of an alien video game? Or some...
When he said that, because I watched this a little bit. I like kind of skimmed through. When he said that, alien video game, I was like, what? I don't think he knows what he's talking about. It's such a weird term.
I don't know. I've heard similar ideas. Like I forgot where I heard it, but somebody said that it could be that like we are kind of like in a snow globe, and aliens are watching us do random stuff in the snow globe. And I was just fascinated by that.
Yeah, and what I mean is like, it seems so funny to say video game because I would more be intrigued of like simulation or like test subject, kind of like the snow globe thing you're talking about. Like, I lean more towards that than video game.
Yeah, than video game.
Like, it just seems like I feel like we have more consciousness than some sort of computer because like I feel like you'd notice more patterns if it was a video game. But I don't know. Like if our reality was generated by an extraterrestrial computer, I just feel like there'd be more recognizable patterns. Yeah. And there's like that'd be crazy the kind of RAM you would need to run 7 billion people all at once.
DR95.
Yeah, for real. Like you'd have to have like
80
large
billion terabytes of RAM.
Yeah, just crazy amounts. So yeah, I like the snow globe idea better than his fucking alien video game thing.
Yeah.
But anyway.
Multi-dimensional drive-in movie theater production or something. Big questions, disturbing answers, and Bob has never been comfortable in talking about it. Never. He reacted by going into a cocoon in a lot of ways. He didn't like it. He doesn't like the attention, and it totally screwed up his life. It's not surprising that even years later, he still is uncomfortable in discussing these things.
Yeah, dude, so they were monitoring his phone calls since he was considered a government employee or whatever for like classified information.
Yeah.
And like they like after they basically fired him, like gave him the recordings of his wife on the phone like cheating on him.
Damn.
Yeah, like for real. Like she had an affair with him. Yeah.
Ooh.
And like they knew, but they didn't tell him.
Oh, that's messed up.
Yeah, for real. Like it fucked up his life, and the fact that like just a lot of his like closer friends that worked for the government or had some sort of security clearance, they didn't have it anymore. So like not only did it fuck up his shit, it also fucked with everybody else around him.
Yeah, that's so fucked, bro.
Yeah.
It's a very disturbing view of reality.
Not gonna lie, I fucking hate the music they have for this. I was just gonna put that in.
And it's like it's trying to be dramatic, but it's failing miserably.
It just sounds awful.
Being a young person's guide to UFOs. So wow, this looks old, man.
Go through.
My name's Bob Lazar. I'm known for working at a classified base known as S4 out in the Nevada desert near Area 51. And there, we reverse engineered alien spacecraft. And it's changed my life a lot. You know, it's probably changed every aspect of it.
Positive or negative?
Well, for the most part, negative. I mean, it's really difficult to find positive aspects of that. I mean, I'm sure there are some here and there, but most of them were negative.
I mean, like, one that you could obviously point out is, like, you got to work on some of the most advanced technology known to man. Like, that's pretty fucking cool.
Yeah, that's fucking sick.
I mean,
bro.
like, that shit slaps for real. But, getting cheated on, that sucks,
Yeah, that really sucks. Well, I mean, working for the government didn't make him get cheated on. It just
No,
made
no,
him
no.
realize that he
No,
was
no.
getting cheated on.
And the worst part is he couldn't. So, like, they might get into it. I don't know. But, like, the work schedule was, like, whack. And he would just get called in at, like, 11 o'clock at night to go and work. And, like, he couldn't tell his wife where he was going. It's literally.
You got me fucked all the way up if you think I'm gonna go work at 11 at night and not tell anybody where I'm going.
Like, for real. Like, he wasn't allowed to tell his wife where he was going. So, like, she probably thought he was having an affair already. So, I mean, not to
So
justify.
she decided to get her get back.
Not to justify what she did, but definitely wasn't healthy for the relationship.
Yeah, not at all.
Would you take it all back and just be Bob the jet car guy and never have done this if you can, or are you glad you had the experience?
Yeah, that's hard to say. I don't know. I think I'd lean towards not. At this point in my life, I probably lean towards not saying anything.
What would be your message to a young person now about looking at your story and thinking about the world? What would you say to them?
Get bitches.
Get bitches.
Just pay attention.
Oh, damn.
That's
Pay attention.
advice.
I can't really say much else. The world's a lot different now. The way information is disseminated and the way things are passed around, it's distorted even faster and more now than it used to be. So they've got a rough road ahead if they're trying to cut through the bullshit.
For real, dude. I can't even look at the fucking news and know if it's real or not anymore. Like,
Honestly.
I don't even know what. It's so infuriating that you can't even, like, look at it and be like, is this really what happened? Or, like, especially with political shit, I feel
Yeah.
like no matter where you look, it's either going to be too right wing, so they're not going to show, like, solid points that the Democrats made, or, like, left winged, and they're very obviously not going to show good points that the Republicans made. So it's fucking shit. You can't even get any good info. And especially, like, the fact that they would hide this kind of shit, like, why? There's no reason.
Yeah.
Other than the fact that I could only assume that they don't want any other countries to have this technology. But go ahead. I interrupted you. I'm sorry.
No, you're good. I thought you were finishing up your sentence. No, I used to watch the news until I realized that the government hid shit, like a lot of shit.
Oh, yeah.
Like
It's bad.
Recently I heard about we accidentally nuked ourselves and Greenland
Yeah.
or Iceland, one of the other. And the government was like, it's fine, just cover it up. And they left part of the nuke in the ground.
Yeah. And, like, or the, I'm sure you've heard about it, but, like, the massive amounts of money that was lost, like, the day before 9/11, and, like, the accounting office that was working on the reason, like, why they lost, like, trillions of dollars got fucking nailed by a plane, because that was in the World Trade Center. That's the accounting office that was, like, doing the investigation on why the hell we lost, like, I think it was $22 trillion. Don't take my word on that. Let me look at that real
Jesus.
quick. Yeah, it was crazy. I want to say, actually, now that I think about it, I think it was more like 10. Let's see.
No, I haven't heard about that though. I was something related kind of to 9/11 though. I shouldn't be laughing, but I was watching I was scrolling through Instagram and I saw this video of two Arab towers like smoking. And someone captioned it and they were like, it's not so funny when it happens to you, huh? I was
Oh
like,
my gosh.
no.
Yeah, so okay, it wasn't that. It was about 2.3 trillion. Hold on, let me double check that. I saw it on the headline. Yeah, $2.3 trillion the day before 9/11. And like that was the government. Just like in the budget, $2.3 trillion was just poof, gone. And so what they ended up doing is, you know, the office that went to go do the investigation or whatever for that was in the World Trade Center building. And it's just, it really sucks that they got hit the day after that investigation started. And I'm not blaming the government for 9/11, but man, that's really incriminating. You know what I mean? Like, that's incriminating as fuck. But yeah, just craziness, dude. But here we go.
What do you want them to know?
That in the late 1980s, the U.S. government had recovered alien spacecraft, several of them, and the technology.
Yeah, so I forgot to mention this. This was back, he worked at this facility in like the 80s.
The 80s.
The 80s. And they had them there. They had them there. There was already people working there. There was already like teams before him. I don't know if he'll talk about it, but he doesn't know like what happened exactly, but he knows that the person he was replacing like died because they were trying to cut into this propulsion reactor with a plasma torch he heard that they were trying to cut into it or something. They decided that was the route they wanted to try and like fucking kill them.
Yeah.
So like they've been working on this for some time. Like this was the 80s. So they've had this for, you know, I don't know. I couldn't even guess. I mean, like, I don't know how long Area 51's been there. That would be a good
Imagine that's how part of our technology that we have now came about, is like they released the tiniest little fucking bit.
That'd be fucking nuts. But like, I mean, he'll probably talk about it. There's no wiring. It works in proximity.
I beg your fucking pardon?
It doesn't have any wiring. It works like just by touching each other. And like he said that the inside, because he got to go inside one of these saucers, because he had to go look at where the propulsion propulsion gravity generator was, or I think he calls it an anti-gravity. I know he said antimatter earlier, but in the
antimatter.
Yeah. But in the podcast, he said it's more like anti-gravity because it's not pulling things towards it; it's pushing away. So it's more of like an anti-gravity generator. But he said he had to like, you know, he had asked to look where it was because it was kind of relevant, you know, to try to figure out how it worked. And so he got to go inside of this saucer, and he said that it was built. You can definitely tell from apparently there's seats in it, and the seats are like too small for humans. Like they're like for half-sized people. And like he had to bend over a little bit, even in the middle point. He said it's like this round room kind of, and like there's no corners. Like it looks like everything's just been melted together, like wax pushed together and then used a torch to make it smooth. Like everything was smooth. There was not, and it was all the same color, and yeah, and there was like 3 layers. The bottom layer had all like the propulsion generators or whatever, and then the middle layer had like where one reactor sat in the middle, and then there was 3 chairs that went around it, and then there was also like 3 table type things, but there was no buttons on them. They were just flat. Like there was no way to steer the thing. There's just chairs around a reactor. But yeah, crazy. I hope he gets into it because he's better at describing it, but like it's just kind of, he said there's no wiring on that podcast. And I was like, what? That's crazy.
So it's like pretty much touch-based Bluetooth, kind of.
I mean, like that's a maybe. So what I'm assuming is, or I guess it's comparable to like electromagnetic.
Oh yeah.
Like, you know, because you can transfer electricity through things, but you know, but it's just crazy that there's no wiring. Like it's just bizarre.
That's weird.
Anyway,